Hey, what's up guys? This is Astronox for a Tap Wizard RPG Arcane Quest gameplay video. Well, it's more like a trick here. Uh, starting at zone 20 and up, you can encounter these guys, and they just basically they just copy themselves over, and they fill up the battlefield basically. You should definitely just, like, when you encounter them, just farm them. Just make sure that your damage is not too high. I was running firewall. I replaced it because it was attacking the front row, and after a couple minutes I would kill the front row, and then I would advance further into the map. So by having it like this, it's better. Also, well, I wonder if you actually advance to 21.5 a bit, and then it's gonna keep on killing the monsters in the back and replacing them with the summoners. But now there's this, like, this monster, the blue monster, that's like dancing. I cannot kill him with my setup, so I'm not too worried about it. He's not attacking. It's just that when you set up yourself, you have to make sure you don't die. Also, I mean, because if you die, you will come back and have more power, and just you're gonna deal too much damage probably. Also, you could set up like a bunch of like single target spells. I'm using a lot of area damage spells right now. So you might have noticed I've been really lucky. So yes, I have, that's right, 3 shocknet. I have 3 shocknet. I've not been trying to get them by using the pure spellstone or nothing. Yeah, I just pulled another one today, and in the previous gameplay videos I had 2. So yeah, that's really nice. I marked it up. It's doing less damage now, but it's fine. It should be receiving 175% experience because of the way I set it up. Now, look at Voltaic Orb. It's a really good spell. I mean, here it's only doing 10% of the damage, but you have to remember Shocknet is just, it hits everything, and it's just great. But also Shocknet later on can be fake damage, meaning that it's gonna hit monsters, but they will just regenerate their health, and it won't actually kill them, so it's just wasted damage. You will need some like focus damage. I'm planning on leveling, ranking up the shocknet and marking it up, and maybe lowering my TM lag. Since I have 3, I can keep shock running most of the time. Let's say right now, like, because with a 2-second cooldown I can, and the 5th rank, I can have a shock on the screen going off just with 1 shock net. So by having 3, I mean, it could be 4 seconds, it could be 6 seconds, but 6 seconds is not good because the shock won't be on every monsters, because they're not casting like perfectly. Sometimes you have, maybe you start with all 3 casting at the same time. Right now you see all 3 basically almost casted at the same time, and that's kind of dangerous when you're farming these summoners, because you might do too much burst damage and you might take out a whole squad in front, and then you start advancing further. But anyways, my power, I've been running this for almost an hour, and I currently I have 61.7 E21, and the stuff that's stored, my power that's stored on the next recall is almost 30 times higher than what I had initially. So you might be thinking, oh yeah, why don't you pop like a bunch of power harvesting? Well, if you think about it, each power harvesting is additive. So if let's say I pop all 204, let's say I manage to pop all 204 instantly, meaning they all run for a minute. Well, divide that 204, let's say it's 200, divide it by 2 first, so because it's only 50%. So it's gonna be 100 time, yes, you will have a power gain 100 time higher. So for a minute, basically. So what happens here? You pop them all. Okay, you farm for a minute. You have 100 time power growth, but if you think about it, you could just leave it like this and farm for 100 minutes and get the same result. And not only that, by leaving it running like this, oh, you don't want to take the minus cooldown because you might do too much damage and just kill the front row. Right now, oh, the second, are they gonna multiply on the second squad? Because there used to be like 4 squads of them. Now the second squad's dead, meaning that maybe if there's no one in the second row, they will not copy themselves over anymore. So my damage is too high. I'm not doing a perfect setup. If you did this correctly, you would run maybe like 1 AoE and the rest would be like an attack that attacks in the front, an attack that attacks in the back, something like that, you know. You don't want to run something that I'm running. It's too risky to kill them all. But I'm not too worried here. I'm just doing this to ease the pain of grinding the zones, but I'm not going all out. Okay, so the trick here, you could reach this place and just have a nice spell setup that is not risky, that you won't kill them, and just leave the game running like overnight, all the time. Let's say you're busy doing other things, just leave it running. If you play this game on a tablet, especially like not on your actual phone, it really helps. Another thing, you can just save the game, come back to it, and you'll just keep on farming at the same place. Another trick is, because you need to find them, it's really hard, zone 20 and plus, but there's multiple of them in zone 20 and 21. Like, it's easy to set it up. But the thing is, after you pass this, you won't encounter this that often, and I mean, and before that you won't encounter them because they only start spawning in zone 20 and plus. But you can go in a dungeon. Wait a second. Go in a dungeon, and you can just re-roll the dungeon until you see a summoner. Now, when you see the summoner, you will see what kind of power-ups you have and all that. It doesn't really matter. Now, the thing is, let's say it's going to be a pack of summoners. So you go in the dungeon, maybe you get lucky and there's a bunch of them, you know, and they start copying themselves, and they're replacing all the other monsters, and basically now you have a full screen of them, and you can just leave it. You can set up your spell so it's not risky. You will not like kill them all in one shot, a whole squad. And that's a way to always have a farm going. Let's say you're going to sleep, right? You set this up a couple minutes before. I mean, it might take 15 minutes, 30 minutes if you're unlucky, but you set it up, and then the beauty of it is you're gonna keep on farming power, but the best thing is that you're gonna get full XP on your spells here, and like what else? You're gonna farm gold, like a ton of it. The thing is, if you would play normally, yes, initially the power is really nice, but let's say after an hour, if you just played the game normally, you would gain much more. That's the thing. But it's a way to set it up so you actually gain full spell experience when you're not available to actually be active. So yeah, basically a trick to I wanted to show you guys to safely AFK in the game, but get full reward basically. And also I'm getting a bunch of items by doing this. You could also use something like one of these things. I mean, 60 minutes, it's pretty nice. I mean, if you use this for, let's say 1 hour, if you stack those, you're gonna get a lot of power, but I don't like to do it that way. I would prefer keeping those things for, like I said previously, for the meditation number 4 after crafting the Omega Lumen, when I have to push to zone 105 and kill the boss to go into New Game Plus. Prefer to save my my materials for that. Also, it's got me thinking about this here, the tower left and the tower right. This, I said that, you know, this heals you, so you could basically set up your spells. If there's a bunch of other types of monsters in the pack with the summoners, they will deal damage to you, and having the heal here might be enough to just keep you alive, and you'll be able to like leave the game running earlier and have the, like, go sleep, let's say, and have your farm going. Another thing is this and this makes it so the slot, what is it, something like the slot 2 and 4 now target range, like monsters in range, and the tower right makes it so this targets, there it is, targets enemy in close range. Now I'm going for this one, but if I'm targeting monsters in close range, that's not good, because I will kill the first squad and then I will advance, and I will repeat and repeat. So let's say you're going with this one. You have the healing so you're safe. You can heal up to 200% of your health with this. Also, this and this will target range monsters in range. So you could be killing summoners further away from you, and it's gonna be safer. But that's if you feel like, because it's zone 20 plus, and after zone 20 and 21 you won't encounter them as much. I did encounter them like in 28 or 27, and I farmed them. But yeah, you'll have to reroll a bunch of dungeons, and it won't be cheap, you know. Like, let's say you have to infuse 10 times to see a summoner. Well, that's 20 runite that's gone. You might get lucky, get it earlier. Maybe it takes you 50. So those are like, those runite can go toward, especially if you're free to play like me. I mean, you want to save those up and get like the level 2 of Nihai Nick, or I mean, if you got him already, or if you prefer something else, you can have all of them from my understanding. So after him, I'll work toward, I'm not sure yet. I like the 100% XP here. This equals to 10%, but this, he also gains an extra plus 10% XP. So that, I mean, does it mean the 5th loadout slot becomes 15% gain, or does it mean it's 5% and it becomes 5.5? It's plus 10%, so it's additive. It should transform the 5th slot into 15%, and now that's much better. That's much better, because she randomly cast one spell and it gets 100% of the rate, meaning that if she casts the 5th spell, you're only gonna get 5%. The full rate is 5%, or does it mean that it's gonna turn into 100% of, like, you know what I mean? Is it gonna be 100% of 5%, or 100% of 10% for the 4th slot, or 100% of 25%, or it's actually gonna be 100% like the 5th slot, the 1st slot, all the time on all the spells? So that needs to be tested. All right, so I think I'll just call this video here and pick up this box for the runite after, and later on I'll make another video when I finish farming this, I'll just leave it running. Now I'm past 30 time my initial power. Here, if you check, like the +3 enchant is 73 E21. Basically, I was almost there already. So I might get to enchant, I don't know, maybe enchant 5, maybe enchant 6 after I'm done with this. Probably even more. I won't have much time to just leave the game running though, because I only have my phone with me. But yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm Astronox, and if you like this video, hit the like button. And yeah, leave me a comment if you... what do you do when you encounter these guys? Do you just... you go crazy with the power harvesting, you just let them AFK, or you just reset and just mow through them and don't really care about it? But I like it. I like that idle farming with full reward aspect, and it's only like really these guys that you can do it on. It's almost like they were introduced in the game for either like using a bunch of power harvesting and gaining a bunch of power super quickly, or just farming them. I'm not quite sure, but it is pretty exciting. So yeah, if you you could subscribe to my channel if you want to get an alert when I release new videos. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.